Live from the heart of Manhattan in New York City, this is the Cigar Federation. I'm here at the Nat Sherman Lounge, the Johnson Club, getting ready to do an interview with the one and only Michael Herklots. We're right here on 42nd and 5th. You guys haven't been here, you need to see the massive change in Nat Sherman Lounge. Awesome place to smoke. We're back here with an intimate interview with Michael Herklots. Michael, how long have you been in the business of selling and doing all that you do in the cigar industry?
I got my first job in the cigar business in the summer of 1999 in Boston at a little kiosk in the Prudential Center Mall called the Humidor. So I started there selling and stayed there through about 2001. I joined Gloucester Street Cigar Company in Boston around 2001 for my few remaining months in school. And then in 2002, I moved to New York City and got a job at Davidoff at 54th Street as a salesperson. And so I worked at the Davidoff store on 54th and Madison from 2002 until 2006 as a salesperson, and really worked on events and selling and sort of worked on that events program there. We were, unless I can find any other proof, we were the first store ever to do an in-store sit-down dinner, where as opposed to having a cigar dinner at a restaurant, we brought it into the store. So I'm really proud of that. That was unique. And so I stayed at Davidoff through 06. In May of 2006, we bought the store in Columbus Circle in the Time Warner building, and so they moved me over to become the GM of the store in Time Warner Center in 2006. I was in that role for 2 years, and the GM position at Madison Avenue opened up because one of my mentors, David Kitchens, who was the GM at Madison for a long time, ended up moving to Holtz in Philadelphia. And so they sort of created a new position and put me in charge of the Madison store as well. So in 2008, I took over as the GM of both stores, and I stayed in that position up until June of 2011 when I left that company to join Nat Sherman.
Wow. So coming from just a sales position over the course of a few years, the establishment management obviously saw something in you that felt that would better the direction of their business and elevated you rapidly in succession throughout the company. And it's very impressive. I'm a people kind of guy. When I meet somebody, I'll study them, watch them, how they are in crowds, and just, it's kind of like, I don't know, not a hobby, but just something I've always done. And in my profession before doing what I'm doing now, it came in, it was part of the job. And I've noticed about you that you're a man that's on, and you don't have what I call lag time. You are always on. If it's not one item, it's another. And you're a very friendly, personable, welcoming person. And I can see how the things that I've seen, other people obviously in Davidoff and here at Nat Sherman have seen in you as well. And I'm again honored to have this opportunity to sit next to such a giant in the cigar business and build a relationship and a friendship. You're the kind of guy that I like. You're the guy that the kind of person that you just exudes trust.
Well, I mean, you know, that's a whole bunch of really nice stuff. I mean, you know, I was very fortunate. I've always been very fortunate in good fortune and being around good people. You know, I had a lot of great teachers, and I tended to never say no to an opportunity. You know, so whether it was a gig, or whether it was an event, or whether it was a trip, or you know, I always said yes because I figured it was some new experience that I wasn't going to get. You know, my time at Davidoff was a huge piece of my career, almost 10 years, and you know, the opportunities that company gave me and trusted me with you know, I have a tremendous amount of appreciation for Davidoff and the family, just because they're just such amazing people, and with a brand that was so iconic and so important, that they were willing to give me some of those responsibilities and to really make me a part of the fabric of what that brand is. I'm really, really very grateful for all that. And then to be able to have this opportunity with the Sherman family, which is a new position, it never existed before, but now to really be responsible for the creation of new products and really helping to create the direction that the Nat Sherman brand is going to go in. The cigars, the experience of the store, embracing some of the history of Nat Sherman, creating new products. You know, it's such an exciting piece of my job now, and again, I'm incredibly grateful to the Sherman family to trust me with a role like that. You know, so I'm super grateful and super pumped, you know, to still be making a living doing this.
Well, there's an old saying that you sow what you reap, and it's very obvious in your young days in the cigar business that you sowed good seed here, and now you're reaping the harvest. But in terms of the owners of Davidoff, the owners of Nat Sherman have seen that and have elevated you through and helping the cigar industry.
You know, this, like I said in the beginning, this industry is just filled with amazing people, and I'm just so fortunate to have all my closest friends I met through cigars, 100%. I mean, there isn't a single person that somehow at this point in my life I haven't related to via cigars. A few old friends from back home, but besides that, as an adult, the people that I've met, the relationships I've made, even my wife, you know, all the wonderful people in my life, there was a connection to this industry, whether they're a consumer, whether they're a retailer, whether they're a manufacturer, whether I met them from one of those folks. It's just filled with amazing people.
Well, there's something that I've come to terms with. Smoking cigars is a unifying factor. It doesn't matter if you make $100 a day or if you make $10,000 a day. Smoking cigars and sitting down in a setting like this will bring you to a point of everybody's on equal playing field. There is no difference. It doesn't matter how you dress or any of that. It's a unifying factor, and I've got to agree, most of my later year later year friends in life have been built around cigars because of that fact.
Yeah, that's a statement that you hear from anyone who understands what this is. You know, when you talk to a new cigar smoker or a young cigar smoker, and their economic situation is different than a grown man who has a 40-year career, and yet it doesn't make a difference, because it's not necessarily what you're smoking, but it's really just about the act of enjoying a cigar, you know. And like I said, whether you do it with someone, whether you do it by yourself, whether you do it with a huge group of folks, it's an automatic entry into this unique club of cigar smoking. When I travel, the first thing I do in any city I get to is find a retailer. I find a local brick and mortar store, and I walk in and I say hello, and I meet the guys who are there, because that's where I'm going to find out where I'm having dinner, what are the best restaurants, what are the best bars, you know, what do I need to see. I want to find out from the people who are there, because they get me already. Without having met me, you get me, because we love the same thing. We share a passion that's completely different than sports or you know, some other commonality. This is so different because it's so rooted in passion. To your point, it really is a magical industry and a magical hobby, and it just brings people together in a second.